So the next thing, also to some extent connected with the Royal Coat of Arms, is the royal warrants. Royal warrants, you can sometimes find them on the items or merchandise that you can buy. Some, for example, here we have one of the tailor firms, and here we have a bottle of Tabasco sauce, the spicy sauce, and you can find the designs like this one. The most popular is exactly the Royal Coat of Arms. There are also two more designs, one by the Duke of Edinburgh with his crest, and another with the crest of the Prince of Wales. So this is now held by Prince Charles, but any other Prince of Wales, with the three feathers and the crown, and again a motto in some sort of German language, Ich dien, which means I serve. And the inscription, by appointment to, and you have by appointment to Her Majesty the Queen, by appointment to His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, meaning Prince Philip now, or by appointment to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. And these marks, called the royal warrants, can be obtained or granted by permission of the Queen, the Duke of Edinburgh, and the Prince of Wales. When the Queen's mother was alive, she could also give royal warrants, but after she died, of course, they are no longer given in her name. So any business organizations or traders that provide services for the Crown can apply for a royal warrant, and if they provide some services or goods for the Crown for a sufficiently long period, I think initially it has to be consecutive 5 years, they can ask for the royal warrant, which is a kind of prestigious mark without much really other meaning, but this is one of the ways in which the coat of arms is used. Another thing which I already mentioned a little, because this is the central design from the Royal Coat of Arms, is the Royal Standard. So this is the design from the shield in the middle. It can be made into a kind of flag called the Royal Standard, and you can see 4 quarters here. 2 of them are the same. They present the design, the heraldic design called 3 lions passant. Lions passant means lions walking on 4 legs, and this is the traditional symbol of England, one of the heraldic symbols of England. The lions passant, they were part of the heraldic emblems of English kings, and now they are used to symbolize England. Perhaps because we still have some sort of symbolic, or not only commercial, economic, political dominance of England over other smaller regions, they are repeated. They should have given the dragon here. That's what I would say. They should have given the dragon as the fourth border. But they have 2 sets of 3 lions passant. The other lion, the red lion on yellow or kind of gold background, is a standing lion, and this design, this heraldic design, is called a lion rampant. A lion rampant means a standing lion, an attacking lion on the back legs with the front legs kind of in this kind of aggressive pose. And this is one of the symbols, one of the heraldic symbols of Scotland. Perhaps it can be a bit confusing if you have two lions on the two sides of the royal coat of arms. So it was replaced by a unicorn, which is also an old heraldic symbol of Scotland. But anyway, this design here with the lion rampant is the standard of the Scottish kings of Scotland. The last one with this harp, it can be very elaborate design like this here with this kind of victory winged female creature as part of the design of the harp, or a simpler one that you can find on the royal coat of arms without this kind of human form. This harp is a symbol of Ireland, one of the symbols of Ireland, and in Irish Celtic culture the significance of the harp was not really with kind of, I don't know, pretty ladies in long dresses playing it, playing love songs on the harp, but with military. This was the battle harp, if you can imagine something like that, connected with chivalry and knighthood and such things. So this flag, this design is not to be used by everybody. It belongs to the Queen. It can be only used by the Queen or to mark the Queen's presence somewhere. So here we have the royal standard flown on one of the towers of Windsor Castle. We will talk at some point about the residences and palaces of the Queen. One of the more principal residences, the family seat, is Windsor Castle. And if you visit Windsor Castle and you see this flag flying, it means the Queen is present inside. The same about Buckingham Palace in London or any other place. If the Queen is visiting somewhere, like, I don't know, she's visiting a hospital, let's say, the royal standard can be put on the hospital to mark the presence of the Queen. Also on the cars and planes, of course on the ground. They are not flying with the royal standard attached to the plane. When the monarch dies, the royal standard passes to the next monarch. So in case of the death of the sovereign, the Union Jack, the national flag, is flown at half-mast, but the royal standard is never flown at half-mast because it immediately passes to the next monarch. It's like, you know, the king is dead, long live the king. So this is never flown at half-mast because it marks the continuation of the monarchy in Britain. If the Queen wants to use a more private emblem, she has her own private emblem, and we have here in the image this little flag with the letter E for Elizabeth and the crown and a kind of wreath of roses and some leaves. I wonder what these were. Olive branch for peace, maybe, or laurel leaves for valor and victory. So some sort of plant designed around the letter E, and this little personal flag belongs to the Queen only, and when she dies, the next monarch will have their own private design. Just to make it a little bit more confusing, when the Queen is on official state royal business in Scotland, she uses slightly different designs of both the royal coat of arms and the royal standard. And as you can see, some things are reversed here. So you have a double dose of lions rampant with just one quarter with lions passant, and the lion and the unicorn are reversed on the coat of arms, and we don't have the garter, and we have a different motto in Latin, which can be translated as something nobody insults me without punishment. So it's a kind of very militant stance. So if you ever see this design, it is the same idea, but to be used in Scotland. Probably to mark that these were two separate kingdoms historically. The last thing I would like to show you are some strange customs connected to sports and sports teams. So you would expect that there would be either two national teams, like in the Olympic Games, where the states, the countries, sent their teams. So we have two teams, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and the other one for the independent Republic of Ireland. Or, if they want to be more specific, they would go for regional teams. So, the way it is done in football. So we have England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland have their own team in football. So if there are football championships, actually the United Kingdom has 4 teams: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So this is the tradition, I would say. And of course, football is very popular sport in Britain, and they had many great players and great teams. So probably they have enough to man so many teams of players. But there are other sports which are slightly less popular in Poland, but very popular in Britain, and there the arrangement is even stranger. So let's look at cricket, for example. We have 3 teams: England playing together with Wales, Scotland as a separate team, and Ireland comprising the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland playing together. So 3 teams. It is quite interesting to note the colours. They tend to be quite stable. So Ireland, if they can choose, they play in green. England is usually in white. Wales, like in football, when they have separate team, very often play in red. And Scotland in navy blue, or sometimes white and navy blue. So these colors for the sports teams tend to be quite stable. So they are quite typical. So once again, 2 teams in the Olympic Games, 5 teams in football, 3 teams in cricket, and in rugby, which is another very famous, very popular sport, not only in the United Kingdom, but in all of the former colonies, so the Commonwealth countries. We'll talk about the Commonwealth at some later stage. We have 4 teams. So England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland again playing together. So as you can see, it can get a bit tricky, and it's all really connected with traditions. And perhaps the last thing is the most unusual of them all, because here we have a photograph of a football match between 2 teams in Glasgow. Both are from Glasgow, Celtic and Rangers. And if you look at the fans on in the stadium, you can see that the supporters of the Rangers have Union Jacks, and even there is one English St. George's flag here. And the supporters of the Celtic have the flags of the Republic of Ireland. So it's kind of, they emphasize and even exaggerate the loyalties to their local teams. It is historically related because, let's say, Celtic were, the players were very often the immigrants from Ireland, so traditionally they were more connected to Ireland and the Irish Republic. But you can still see the football fans in Glasgow supporting one of the Glasgow teams, waving foreign flags. It really goes down to foreign flags. So yeah, we'll probably encounter this sort of strange political customs, historical customs, later on, definitely in Northern Ireland, when we talk about Northern Ireland. So that's it for this week, and next week we'll talk about London.